This program was first broadcast on Canterbury's access media station, Plains FM, and was made with the assistance of New Zealand On Air.
Welcome to your weekly dose of the Accountology Show. I'm your host and chartered accountant, Nicole Haig, with an insatiable curiosity for uncovering accounting ideas to help businesses grow. I have so many nuggets of gold to share. Are you ready to make your good business great? Let's get stuck right in. Hey, it's your hosts, Nicole Haig and
Alex Fulton.
Welcome to another fabulous episode.
I don't know why we're singing that. Maybe we're in the festive mood. Maybe we're strengthening our mindset.
And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today.
That would be good.
We're at that time of the year when, you start to wind down, and I think there can be so much pressure that you actually feel like your brain's about to explode, because I know I can feel a bit like that at the moment. There's so much on.
You're pointing at me, and I thought you were going to say I could see your brain exploding, which it's actually not. Like, I feel quite
calm about the whole thing.
Maybe it was talking about getting prepared for 2025, which I've thought about, can I just say?
Oh, yes, please.
I don't know I've actioned, but when we talked last week about planning for 2025, I definitely have, the cogs have started to turn. I need to put it in the diary, which is...
Block out the time.
Block out the time, do it.
Great.
But like everyone, I've been a little bit busy over the past week. I've actually been walking up in Coromandel.
Oh, yeah, Coromandel.
Yeah, it was amazing, but...
the scenery would be spectacular.
Very windy, but it was beautiful.
But how good is it to pull yourself out of the business and go into nature?
Go into nature, talk with girlfriends, like the range of conversation we had.
Yeah.
And it's so good to do that, like, especially when you work for yourselves, like just to offload stuff that's been happening and then get other people's advice or
people
a different opinion.
Oh, I've been experiencing the same thing, and this is what I did.
You don't feel alone.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, speaking of that, and I know we'll probably get onto this with strengthening mindset, but do you, because you work, well, you've got some employees.
Yeah.
But, what about a Christmas do for self-employeds? Like, do you do anything? Do you join with other self-employeds or?
So I know a lot of businesses that do that, and I think that's
we have a friends one.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, who are all sort of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's almost like building a community of like-minded people that are business owners, and although we're referring to business in this aspect, I'm
talking about like a work do.
Yeah, work do.
Christmas
exactly.
Work
not
do.
Not a personal one, but
yeah.
I think that's a brilliant idea, and I do hear of groups of different businesses that, and you don't have to be like a BNI networking group or anything like that. But I think,
don't even know what BNI is.
Oh, that was that business networking groups that you meet on a regular basis. But even I have seen on Facebook the people putting out there, is there any business owners in Christchurch who would like to meet up?
Oh, I don't know if I'd like to do that. I mean, sort of like my friends who are also in their own business.
Exactly.
No need to be meeting new people.
Tinder for business.
Yeah, that's right. Swipe.
But I think that is a good idea, because then you're not on your own, and you don't have to be in the same industry. It could be different industries that you meet together.
Well, as we learn, as an interior designer sitting here on an accounting show, it does cross-reference.
Yeah, 100%.
And, like, even though I'm in a creative industry, I think the things I'm learning from you are, they're relatable, and they do obviously are a part of my business as well that I might not have shone enough light on or...
Correct.
Yeah, so...
I even find that, though, as an accountant, and I'll have clients come in and talk about their challenges in their business, and I will go, you know what, I'm having the same challenge in my business. So to be able to even, talk back and forth about things that I'm doing, things that they're doing, to be able to... I think it's just having that, wow, I'm not the only person going through this at the moment.
And I know that when you're in the depths of, a problem or an issue or, a confrontation or whatever it might be, it's very hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
100%.
And, a problem shared is a problem halved.
That's right.
Yeah.
And to have that person to be able to just say, oh, I'm going through this at the moment, and they might go, actually, I've already been through that, and I know exactly how you feel. This is what I would do.
Well, we've talked about the benefits of mentoring and or sharing, and I 100% think it's such a good idea.
Yeah, I do too. It's so valuable in business, but it's such an investment.
We have gone off topic.
Yeah, well, I mean, it does tie completely in with what we're talking about today, which is strengthening your mindset. And we need to consider wellness. I think that's really important in business.
Like holistic
wellness, mental wellness. It's really quite topical at the moment. Obviously, balance in life is really important.
Balance the books, balance your life.
That's exactly right. And my previous practice was called balance accounting.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Ties all in.
And, of course, abundance and how that works. But I think, it's really important. Again, I keep saying it's business and personal. It all ties in. You can't separate the two.
One part of your life, if one part of your life is going badly, it often will affect other parts of your life.
Exactly.
So, personally and professionally, there's no magic wall that separates those two things.
No.
So, talking about doing all this stuff for your business, looking at 2025, I guess what you're saying is that we also have to look at sort of practical steps that we can put in place as business owners or whatever you're doing. And I guess knowing you, have some actions
we
for
do.
us.
We
Okay,
do, absolutely.
great. Let's talk about those.
I think the first thing is the old adage of, put that oxygen mask on yourself first.
True.
You need to make yourself healthy and balanced and, all of those things that we're going to talk about now before you can help anyone else.
Before you can grow, before you can attain goals.
Exactly. So the first one is positive self-talk. I mean, how many of us have got that negative Nelly in our head that is saying, you're a fraudster, you're an imposter, you're never going to be able to do that.
I don't think it's a bad thing, but you don't want it to be all the time.
To consume you.
Yeah, because I know when it has, I have had those thoughts and feelings, but I guess it's about how you get yourself out of that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or
recognising it, moving on.
And I think recognising the fact that, would you talk to a friend like that?
Yeah.
Because I think you can be a lot crueler on yourself
100%
than you would on a friend or a work associate or someone else. So
I've got a friend who works in resilience, and she's got a really good expression. Like when you sort of come up against a roadblock or a wall or a conflict or anything like that, she's got a really simple little phrase, and I use this all the time. She says, is this going to help or harm? And I think it's a really good thing. It's like you get to a crossroad and you just go, is this going to help or harm? And it just kind of stops you in your tracks and stops everything snowballing down a really bad path.
Yeah, and taking time out to think about the consequences of your actions as well.
Yeah.
So that positive self-talk, whenever you are starting to talk negatively to yourself, it is having that positive self-talk. And as cheesy as this may sound...
Do you do something? What do you do?
I was going to say, like standing in front of the mirror in the morning and talking positively to yourself, having a mantra, something positive for you.
My husband will go, who are you talking to?
Shut the door.
Yeah.
Or even written on the mirror in the morning. My daughter used to do that.
Post-it
She would
note.
have something on she would get one of those mirror pens or, that you could actually write on the mirror. So every morning she would see it, visually see it, and then repeat it, visually see it.
Wow.
So I think that's a good...
That's a good start.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Yeah, and I think it's just good to recognise it. Like I say, I think we'll always... I don't think you can go through life without having that, but it's stopping yourself and rejigging the path you're on.
Is this going to help or harm?
Help or harm.
I've taken a note.
Yes, good girl.
Right, the second one is gratitude. And I know we've heard about this quite a lot and, gratitude journals and focusing on the positive and the things that you have as opposed to the things you don't have.
Yeah.
I think is so important. And I think at times, we can be such a materialistic
100%.
population,
Consumer
can't we?
beasts.
That I think we just need to remember it's the people around us that are really important. And, the law of averages, you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So you want to be surrounding yourself with positive and inspiring people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that writing in a journal and cementing it, I've got a friend that does this every day.
Gratitude journal.
Gratitude, yep. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy, again. It just needs to be, being...
Now, a gratitude journal is something that I've heard a lot about and thought I should really do that. And I've started before but haven't really. But I think I've also heard too that it's just as important to maybe as you're drifting off to sleep, think about things that you're grateful for the day.
For the day.
I think there's different ways you can do it and it's got to suit how you are as a person.
We used to do that at the dinner table with the children, actually. So
we've done that. But hang on, what was... there was a name for it.
Grant and Mary, the parenting
remember.
couple from they did some really amazing stuff, and it was, I think, one of their suggestions.
Don't you do the best thing and the worst thing?
We would do the best thing.
There was a word for it. I can't remember now.
The best thing, the worst thing of your day, and what you're grateful for. And you know what? I think it just sparked conversation, and you could actually find out what happened in your children's day or even your partner's day that they were either grateful for. And I think the children start to become grateful because they have to actually think about it then. It's not just an expectation. And it can be something, and I'm not going to say as little as, because I think the most important thing is the people around you as well, to be grateful for the people that you surround yourself with.
Yeah, sure. And that could be business people or personal people or friends or family.
Or it could be an encounter that you've had. I was so grateful to run into this person today because they then told me some things that made me go, oh, I'm not the only person going through this.
Actually, this when you're talking about this does remind me of, and I don't know if this is similar or not, but I did a podcast and part of that, I knew she'd asked me about, like what I've done in my kind of timeline. And I found like writing out those timelines and putting things that I've achieved, I sort of was quite shocked.
I was going to say that. I bet you were. Because you think, I haven't done much in my life. And then you write it down. It's like, oh, actually, I've done quite a lot. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's sort of this, list of things, accomplishments that I'd either forgotten about, put in the back of my mind or whatever. But those all things have happened in my life and they accumulate to your experience and give you self-worth.
And I think that's really good to come back to, what is my purpose on this earth? Why am I here? And it is about, not gaining a whole lot of...
We're getting deep on the Accountology show today.
It's not gaining a whole lot of materialistic possessions, right? No. It is about those experiences that you have that make you stronger people.
We bandy around profit and loss and cash flow and all those sort of things, but you can't do all of that without
being in a good space.
Being in a good space, being balanced, being present. You can't do that.
No,
you can't parent properly. You can't be an advocate for friends or all sorts of things.
A good partner, whether that's a living partner or a business partner.
True.
So which does nicely bring us on to the next one, which is being present. So I know people talk about this, but it is being completely in the moment. And I often look at people when there's an experience. So, you might be at a theme park, for instance, or you're at a show and everyone's recording. And I often think...
We've been to a lot of concerts recently and everyone is recording them.
Just put it down.
Do you actually go back and watch those?
No, I know.
Well, I know it's for social media or whatever, but... Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, living in the moment is such a...
Yeah.
And it's so hard these days. Like, I know I'm not perfect. And I know I'll go for a walk on the beach and have a podcast playing.
Yes.
Or I'll listen to music. Or I'll... we
distract ourselves.
Yeah, we don't just be.
Yes. And I think I listened to another podcast actually recently that was the same thing. It was like, go for a walk without the podcast, without the music, and just ground yourself and be aware of what's around you, and you will see things that you haven't seen.
I actually, my car had a wee skits and I couldn't use my, stereo. And so for about a week, I was driving around with nothing. It was quite weird.
Did you get used to it? And then
I got really used to it. And but it felt, and I guess like anything like that, you just got to get used, it's the new normal or whatever. I was pretty happy to have it back, but it does make you realise that we do probably pump a lot of distraction, information, and stuff we possibly don't need to clutter our mind with.
I think that's getting worse with especially our children's generation. All the distractions on social media, and they're saying now that it's affecting people's drive because you haven't got as much drive to be able to go out there and do things because you're just scrolling through.
I notice one of my daughters, to do any work, she has to have the TV on and listening to,
Yeah.
And I guess, whatever works, but...
in terms of focus.
But I guess that we've got accessibility to all those things. So back to being present, I was thinking about this, there's probably really good apps for this.
Yeah.
I know personally I use Headspace.
Yeah, that's great.
You use that one?
So, no, I have never used that one. There's other ones that I've used. I can't think of the
Calm.
names. Oh, Calm.
It's the other one I use. And actually Spotify have some really good, like if you just put in white noise for going to sleep or rain or something like that.
So I had the Bose earbuds, the sleeping earbuds.
Oh, yeah.
And they play white noise.
Yeah.
So that was just a good distraction, especially when you're going off to sleep, because you know how you get into bed and
my
your
mind
head is going
goes whiz,
everywhere
whiz.
and you can't settle
But
it
that's
down.
generally because I've been on my phone scrolling something,
Well,
and
TikTok's
that's
the
the other
worst.
thing I try and do is I try and read a book or do something
Yes.
analog before going to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't often, that's not always going to happen, but I try.
Yeah. And well, I think that's the most important thing. You're trying, and not to beat yourself up when you don't do it.
Sorry, carry on.
So then the goals. So I think
we talked about goals last week,
Yes,
didn't we?
we
Smart
did.
goals.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we all need to have goals in place. And
Yeah.
we, like children need structure, we need structure, we need some goals. We need to be able to have a reason to get up in the morning
Yes.
and try to achieve something, trying to pursue our goals and dreams and aspirations.
So this is personal and
Yeah, it's both.
business.
It's both.
Yeah. So SMART goals, just to recap,
Yeah, so-
specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. See, I listened to you.
Exactly. Good job. You remember. So again, if you make a goal completely unattainable, or say that you want to make $100,000 in the next 4 days, although you've put a dollar figure on it, great, because you know what you're trying to achieve. But realistically, are you going to do that? I mean, maybe you are, but it needs to be realistic and timely. Are you really going to achieve it in that time frame?
Yeah. So that make them smart.
Make them smart.
But then, like another good thing I know, and you're probably going to talk about this a little bit more, but visualizing your goals. So
Yeah.
and that sort of comes back to things like mood boards or visually seeing your dreams, or it helps you like put emotions behind
Yes.
some goals.
Yeah, and it gives you more drive. And I think to visually see it, it's not just in your head.
Well, I guess it depends how you learn, right? I'm a visual person, so I use things like Pinterest. So you could do your mood board on Pinterest
100%.
or some digital format like that.
Yep.
Or
Or
you could...
Do a hard copy, print it out, just cut out pictures from magazines or, from Pinterest or whatever. And I know of people that have put it up beside their desk. So every day they're looking at it.
My bathroom mirror is going to be so
God,
cluttered.
it's going to be so busy. But again, if it's that dream home that you're trying to achieve, or that car, and I think also other people might see it, and again, their accountability is kind of kicking in because they go,
Yeah.
what's this? And, what are you trying to achieve here? And then they might come back and go, well, how are you getting on? Did you?
Would those sort of like I was thinking when you said we were talking about the SMART goals, and one of them was realistic.
Yeah.
Like, I've got caught up in like The Secret and things like that, where they sort of said, if you want $1 million, put it
out
on
there.
your mood board,
Yeah.
put it out there,
Yeah.
and it will happen.
Yeah.
Like,
Like manifest it.
yeah, my common sense says that's not realistic. But then, is that a barrier to success? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I wonder about that realistic thing. Yeah, like whether if you're saying, well, that's not realistic, all of a sudden you're putting a barrier up and not being able to achieve
Yes. Okay. Realistic, I think, if you're looking long term, and look, this is my dream house, I want to achieve that, I think that's realistic because you could.
Yeah.
But if you're saying I want my dream home within, or I want $1 million within, 6 months or 6 weeks, I was being
6
generous, then is that actually realistic? Because you're going to be set up for failure when you go, oh my God, I still can't afford that house. But, there's such a short time frame to be able to achieve it. And I think I really like the idea of, although you've thought about your short, your medium and your long-term goals and what they look like, and then, like we said, being able to do it, whether it's in a folder or whether it is above your desk, beside your desk, or it's on your computer and every morning maybe it's your screensaver, things like that. So you are visually seeing it all the time, or on your mirror in the morning.
Yeah, on my bathroom mirror.
And then build resilience. Now, we've had to learn that a lot, haven't we, in the last few years over...
Feels like we talk about this a lot, resilience.
Yeah,
but
it is a buzzword, isn't it?
Yeah, but it feels like we've had quite a few things that we've had to be resilient about. So
it's the ability to bounce back from setbacks and challenges that we've had along the way, earthquakes, GFC, COVID, all of that. Instead of giving up and going, I can't do this, and folding, that you recognise what it felt like, and that you are able to go, you know what, I can change things.
But also, like everyone reacts in different ways, and I guess also finding the right help.
Yes.
This might be fully off topic, but like if you've had some stress or trauma about something, like
it might trigger you.
It might trigger you. So I think definitely recognising it and just feeling like that it's, I get what you're saying, like building that resilience. I think we do it automatically, but we might need some help to do that.
Yeah, I agree. And that ties in with learning from our mistakes, because I think the biggest thing is the failure to make mistakes. I see that all the time. And
we've got to make mistakes to learn, right?
That's how we learn.
Yeah.
And we often refer to them as flurnings, failures that become learnings.
I've never called them flurnings.
Okay, now you can call them.
Now I can call them
flurnings. But as long as you're not obviously, repeatedly making the same error or mistake,
of course,
and you're learning from it, then it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I definitely think, I think just to reflect on situations where you've mucked up or you've failed at something, or things haven't gone how you would like, just to get context around it, just to work out what did you learn from it, like what can you do better next time, and how are you going to change going forward. I think that's really important to do.
It can be really painful at the time that you think that you failed.
I've had so many. I can think of
so many.
Yeah.
No. I think we all have.
And sharing those with other people is really important.
Yeah.
As well.
Agreed.
And that kind of I know your next one will be about surrounding yourself with positive people. So,
I love that. The law of attraction and the law of averages, where you are the average of the 5 people that you surround, or you become the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with.
That's so true.
It is so true. So you need to be around inspiring, positive people. You don't want to. I think anyone negative in your life, you need to remove.
And that's quite hard too. But I think
it's easier said than done.
Yeah, but that's that's a really important thing, is surrounding yourself with your cheerleaders.
So we've talked a lot about the mental side, but I think the physical side is also equally as important. So obviously, the fitter we are, the more healthier. Is that a thing? More healthier? The healthier.
Yeah, healthier we are.
That you are. Our brains will work better. So regular exercise is really important. I think, especially if we're getting older, it's about strength, isn't it?
Yeah, I definitely.
How did you notice going up the hills in the Coromandel?
Well, I think it's quite different to be hill fit than to be strength fit. But I think you have to do a mixture of everything.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but like, and hand in hand with that is good nutrition and quality sleep, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, this reminded me of our Aura rings.
We've both got Aura rings.
Yeah, and and we're friends on Aura, on the Aura app, and
that's our accountability piece.
Yeah, that's our accountability. So I can see when Nicole's had a good day or a stressful day or a bad sleep.
Yeah, yep.
And
vice versa.
Yeah, so
And you have checked in on me. You've been really good. You checked in and gone,
Yeah.
oh my God, is everything all right? Because
Yeah.
I see you haven't been sleeping or...
Yeah. So that's quite funny that we do that.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. And yeah, so that kind of, having a tool like that. I mean, it's, if you don't know what Aura is, it's like an Apple Watch, but you wear it as a ring. But, we've got to use technology sometimes for those things.
Just to maintain our own health and well-being and to, even oxygen saturation.
I've learned so much.
I've learned a lot as
Yeah.
well because I'm not really into all of that in terms of, from a scientific perspective. But I found it really intriguing.
Yeah, well, my gynecologist actually told me to
I'll get one.
get one, and it was because I don't, I've had a hysterectomy, and this is what we talk about on an accounting show, but it means that I can actually, monitor ovulation. So anyway,
Yeah.
who would have thought we're
Who
talking
would
about
have
that?
thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought? But it all ties in, right? Because it's
Yeah.
that whole physical and mental wellness.
Yeah,
that it all
absolutely.
ties.
Well, that's been quite a subject matter, but it relates to accounting.
It does. It relates to business and personal, and it's just so critical because if you don't look after yourself, then you're not going to be able to do anything for anybody else.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, we're human beings that need to work properly to work
Correct.
properly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Love it.
Awesome, Nicole.
Right, we'll see you next week on the next week's show.
Okay, see you then.
Bye. Thanks for joining us on the Accountology Show. If you have enjoyed today's show, you're in luck because we'll be back next week. You'll find past episodes at plainsfm.org.nz and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to never miss an episode. We would love it if you would leave a 5-star review and tell a friend or business owner who would benefit from hearing our show. We also love hearing from you, so reach out with any comments or a topic you'd like covered, and even suggestions for whom we should get in the studio next for an interview. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn and TikTok. Our handle is NH Plus Associates, that's NHPLUS Associates, or email me, nicole@nh-a.co.nz. But most importantly, thank you for taking the time to listen to the show. Until next time, keep building that business into the empire it absolutely deserves to be.